What if the Jazz Age had a conservative Southern Democrat at the helm instead of a stoic New England Republican? What if Wall Street's favorite son wasn't Coolidge, but the obscure, elite lawyer John W. Davis? In 1924, the United States stood at a political crossroads, and in this alternate history, the country chose a very different path. This is the untold story of what might have happened if John W. Davis had defeated Calvin Coolidge and Robert La Follette. Like and subscribe for more. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell for more history documentaries. Please watch the video till the end, as good interaction would help the performance of the video and the growth of my channel massively. A shocking upset. How Davis wins in 1924. For John W. Davis to win in 1924, several key factors would need to shift. First, Davis, a compromised Democratic candidate, would have to galvanize both the conservative Southern Democrats and the progressive urban Northern voters. No easy feat, given his pro-business stance and opposition to many labor reforms. Meanwhile, Robert La Follette's progressive campaign, which drew nearly 5 million votes in our timeline, would need to peel away more votes from Coolidge than from Davis, especially in key Midwestern and Western swing states. In this alternate timeline, a scandal or economic hiccup late in the campaign dents Coolidge's popularity, and La Follette performs better in Republican-leaning states like Wisconsin, Minnesota, and even parts of Ohio and Illinois. This splits the anti-Davis vote, just enough to let Davis carry crucial northern states by narrow margins. The result: Davis wins the Electoral College with a slim majority. Coolidge comes second. La Follette takes several states in the upper Midwest, making it one of the most fractured elections in U.S. history. America reacts: surprise and suspicion. The American public, particularly in the industrial North, is shocked. Davis, a former ambassador to the UK and a Wall Street lawyer, is seen as out of touch by progressives and labor unions. The South celebrates his victory, but many urban workers feel betrayed by the Democratic Party selection. Robert La Follette denounces the results as a triumph of corporate money and backroom deals. He returns to the Senate to continue championing progressive reforms. Coolidge, ever the stoic, gives a brief and dignified concession, warning that the future of limited government and free enterprise is now in jeopardy. Privately, he's relieved to leave the growing pressures of the presidency behind. The Davis administration, a conservative presidency with a Southern accent. Cabinet and philosophy. John W. Davis forms a cabinet filled with business-friendly conservatives, many of whom have ties to Wall Street and Southern interests. His Attorney General is staunchly anti-union, while his Treasury Secretary follows orthodox economic principles, favoring balanced budgets and low government intervention. Economic policy: less roar, more restraint. While Davis supports business growth, his approach is more cautious than Coolidge's hands-off style. He does not champion massive tax cuts, like the Revenue Act of 1926, though he supports modest reductions. The Roaring Twenties still occur, but with slightly more regulation on banking and railroads. The stock market remains strong, but the fever pitch of speculative excess is slightly tempered, perhaps delaying or even muting the 1929 crash. Foreign policy: isolation with diplomacy. Davis, having been ambassador to the UK, promotes international diplomacy. He supports the Kellogg-Briand Pact of 1928, which renounces war as a tool of policy and maintains isolationist policies similar to Coolidge. He's less hostile to the League of Nations in theory, but doesn't push for U.S. membership. Social and racial issues: a troubling legacy. Here, Davis's Southern roots show. He does not challenge the Ku Klux Klan, which remains a powerful force in the South and Midwest. While he enforces the Immigration Act of 1924, he does little to reduce its discriminatory impact. Civil rights activists are disappointed. Davis, like many Democrats of the era, turns a blind eye to lynching and segregation. On the other hand, Davis remains silent on prohibition, enforcing it but not expanding efforts to clamp down, which pleases rural conservatives but frustrates urban voters. Dealing with the farm crisis. Where Coolidge vetoed the McNary-Haugen bill, Davis, eager to win Midwestern support for re-election, signs a version of the bill into law. This provides federal subsidies to stabilize crop prices and support farmers, slightly improving rural economic conditions. Responding to innovation. Charles Lindbergh's flight. Davis hails Lindbergh's 1927 transatlantic flight as a triumph of American ingenuity. He uses the moment to call for greater government support of aviation infrastructure, including air-mail expansion and airports. Unlike Coolidge, Davis takes a more public role in celebrating technological progress, seeking to inspire national unity and pride. Cleaning house, reform or reassurance. Coming after the Teapot Dome scandal under Harding, Davis promises to restore dignity to the White House. While not as coldly virtuous as Coolidge, he does implement modest anti-corruption measures and strengthens civil service protections. His efforts are cautious, aiming to reassure Wall Street without rocking the boat. The 1928 election, a rematch or a revolution. By 1928, Davis's popularity is mixed. The South is loyal, but northern cities and labor unions are restless. The Republicans nominate Herbert Hoover, a respected engineer and former Commerce Secretary. Meanwhile, some progressives flirt with a revived third-party run. Despite Davis's moderate economic success and stability, Hoover's message of a chicken in every pot and dynamic modernization resonates. Hoover defeats Davis, ending the brief Democratic interlude before the Great Depression. The long-term impact. A softer fall? Davis's slightly more regulated economy may have slowed the buildup of financial bubbles, possibly reducing the severity of the 1929 crash. With a more cautious economic approach, unemployment and bank failures might not skyrocket as quickly. Still, Hoover inherits the coming storm, though its force may be blunted. Davis is remembered as a transitional figure, a man of deep principles, yet limited vision on race and social progress. His presidency is marked by caution, tradition, and a missed opportunity to address deepening inequalities. Conclusion: a conservative path not taken. John W. Davis's presidency would have been conservative, genteel, and Southern, but far less laissez-faire than Coolidge. It would have meant a slower-paced, roaring 20s, a more modest government approach to prosperity, and likely less bold action on civil rights and immigration. He might have delayed, but not prevented, the storm clouds forming over Wall Street. In the end, his presidency would be a curious footnote, a lawyer president who played it safe at a time when America was speeding ahead. What do you think? Write your opinion and version of the story in the comments below. Please be polite and kind. If you want to know what would have happened if Eugene Debs won in 1912, click on the video on the left. Thanks for watching.